Alright, what's up guys? We got Press Check out of here back again. This time we're going to talk about our Glock 48 MOS. So first off, let's go ahead and clear this weapon. About it. So here we are. Some fluff. So as you can tell, this one looks kind of more like, like Gucci than my other builds. And that was simply because I wanted to kind of have more fun with it. Because to me, this is like a little summer gun, little pocket gun, like, you can take out the light, have a smaller profile, and just like put it in like a bag even, you know what I mean? Just for the summer to have fun with it. So this is one of my first let's Cerakote a pattern type of gun. So we can dive right in, break down the build. I'm kind of gonna go over each part that I have on here, and then, from there we can get I'm gonna break down each part, what we have on here, and then after that we can dive in deeper and talk about, why I have this, the purpose behind it. So on the top we have Hollow Sun 407K. We have Talon Grips, this is the Pro texture. We have Empire PBF Katana Magwell, TLR 7 Sub, and we have Stock Trigger, and it should be Ameriglow Hackerthorns, the, front orange post, black 3 ears. Okay, so now let's kind of, dive in. So basically, this slide was actually cut. I added some, custom cuts to it. Once again, shout out Wage. He does all my slide cuts, amazing work, fast turnaround time, great stuff. Check him out. He did a bob cut for me because I love the look of, the Glock 34 or the Glock 48 where that extra bit comes out and then you can actually bob cut it to give it more aerodynamic look. I think it's a great little touch because Glock is known to be so, boxy, glocky, whatever. So I think it's a great switch up for once. And then we have a window cut I had him do. And also I added some top slide serrations, if you can tell, because I do like the press check from the front. And I also thought about porting the barrel actually. At one point I might, send it out to get some ports done to try that, because in the past I've always done compensators. In this case, maybe a Glock 43X slide with a comp would be cool, but I went with the 48. So I want to try a 48, but try a comp barrel. Sorry, a ported barrel. And also I had a friend that talked to me about why the 43X is better than the 48. He said the 43X and 48 use the same recoil spring, but the 48 has a longer slide, so there's a bunch of extra mass on there that kind of makes it, I guess, recoil slow, and it could cause malfunctions, I guess, especially with the dot. So I was like, okay, I guess, if I did a window cut, that might lighten the slide a bit, especially with the dot, even it out. Don't know how accurate that is. That's just something he told me from experience, from owning both. And then the, I also had Wage kind of adjust the cut, because the MOS cut is actually RMSC shield cut, I believe. But if you kind of sand down or, grind down the nubs, it can actually be the 407 507K footprint. And it'll be flush fitting, which is awesome. So I didn't have to use an adapter plate. This sits as low as, possible. And it co-witnesses with these iron sights. And these sights are actually just, regular height. It's awesome. He went ahead and lobbed this off to my Cerakote guy, Harriet Tube Sock. I'll, link him right here. Awesome stuff. He's located in Texas. He's out in that heat, Cerakoting your gun. Discuss a vision with him, and he will get it done. So we did a topography camo, basically. We did, I believe it's tungsten and graphite black. And this is the effect we got. Very nice little summer pattern. Very cool. So this dot with, with that special cut, I put the 407K because I actually wanted an EPS. Now that that's out, but I didn't feel like paying that EPS money. So for now, it's going to be the 407K up until I can get that EPS on here. And also shout out Nate if you're watching this. He was the one that actually upgraded to the EPS on his P365, I believe. And so he actually threw this over to me for a deal. There was a slight scratch on the lens, but that's not a big deal to me. I've been shooting it fine. We can talk about why the MOS, because it already comes with the cuts, and then also there's a light rail. I don't know why Glock decided to drop, the 43X and the 48 no light rail, and then later they drop them with the light rail, and it's just very silly. I think the MOS should have just been whether there's a cut or not a cut. I think having a light rail, not a light rail, especially on the frame, which is an FFL item, makes things really complicated. That felt very SIG money grabbing to me, the way they drop new 365s every month with some new feature that you could have got. But that's just me. So I got the MOS simply because I wanted the option for a light rail. Some people believe in handheld flashlights instead of weapon mounted lights, and I understand that. But with this one, it's I can have this or I don't have to have it. If you did the non-MOS, you literally just can't have it unless you want to use was that recover tactical rail or that TLR 6. And so now onto more of this. We have the the Talon grips. This is the Pro texture. I think it's my favorite one because it's in between that awful like skateboard grip tape, which will like tear up your hands or even your stomach if you're appendix carrying. And also the rubber one, which is, you know, it's very soft, but I don't think it adds much texture. So stock, the 43X and 48, these Glock single stacks, I think their stipple texture is very weak. It's like a couple of like pathetic like pimples like on the frame. And like when you hold it, when I first shot it completely stock, it felt kind of like it was like popping out of my hands. There's nothing much to really hold on to, and I like things with a slight more like aggressive texture. One day like a laser stipple or something would be awesome for this, but you know, for now I just paid like 20 bucks, got these like Talon grips, instantly felt way more locked in my hands, and like I had way better recoil control with this. And then moving on, we have the Empire PBF magwell. So because this is a smaller frame handgun, I think some of these other magwells are designed more like that with no like little lip, but this lip was actually very helpful in locking in my pinky. So for once, because it's not like a G45 or like a G17 with the full frame, I can actually have that benefit of like the magwell helping hug my fingers in. Very awesome. I got it tungsten to try to match the Cerakote pattern we have here. And also I forgot to mention, we are actually running Shield S15 mags. So if you see the example, these are the Shield mags, which would actually run 15 rounds compared to the OEM ones right here, which I brought, that run 10. Don't ask me why Glock couldn't figure this out on their own. I think Glock was trying to, you know, stick to their plastic mags, and you know, they can't just switch up metal mags all of a sudden. But also I read somewhere that they said if Glock had 15 rounds for this, it would compete with the G19, which is a very popular model for them. I thought that made sense. You know, it could be a thing about band states as well, but I do run these Shield Arms mags, and you know, some people say there are issues with them. They're like, oh, you know, failure to feed, stovepipes and whatnot, but even Shield Arms recommends you switch out the mag release on their website or somewhere in like fine print. It actually says like you're supposed to. So that's why a lot of people run into issues, but it's actually because you don't have the right mag release. It's because it helps seat the mag like differently, which actually helps it feed better. I don't know. These are the Gen 2s, and to be honest with you, I do want more time like on the range to run more rounds through these, just to make sure they're fully okay. This was supposed to be a summer gun, but as you know now, we're entering like fall winter season. Didn't carry this too much. Like I probably threw it in my pants and just like threw out some trash once or twice. I've already done a bunch of mag dumps with these because I think, you know, the reviews of these mags where you're shooting like once at a time, like at an indoor range, is not going to be the same when you get into a self-defense incident. So also, if you notice, I actually numbered my Shield Arms mags 1, 2, 3, 4 because I wanted to be able to pinpoint if there were any issues with them, how, like, you know, which magazine it was. Maybe I could send it back, talk to Shield Arms, because they had some customer service stuff about that as well. I've heard people send it in, they'll say it's something like it's out of spec somehow, and they'll send you back a new one. And another quick thing, if you didn't know, once you know, swap this mag release, you actually cannot use your stock ones anymore. I mean, you can. The only thing is because this is a metal mag catch, it will kind of like wear down this when you start shooting with the recoil, and then they may actually just like fall or not catch. But the one detail is that you cannot actually drop these free anymore. So you kind of have to dig your fingers in and tear them out. So I know some people have carried like, they'll carry a spare one as their like OEM, and then they'll have the actual, you know, Shield Arms in there. Like if you're carrying a sidecar. So it would be like a setup kind of like this. I've even thought about in the past, you know, in my head I was like, in case these don't work out, I could totally just carry it with a 10 round and then have another 10 round in a sidecar like that, just to have 20, or, you know, 20 plus 1. But so far these have actually worked great, so I can't complain, but I do want more time like on the range with them. I think one of my buddies, he said with these mags, because he had a 43X in the past, he said, you know, if the Shield Arms mags are like the, you know, the faulty ones, the ones that aren't working, the ones that will give you malfunctions, you'll probably find out in like the first 3 rounds. And I think that makes a lot of sense, right? All right, and that about wraps things up about the Glock 48. I want to thank you guys once again for tuning in to another video. As always, like, comment, subscribe. If you have anything down below to drop in the comments, definitely like, you know, leave a comment. I'll check it out. Say what's up. And I will drop some links in my description for some of like, you know, the Cerakote or the slide cuts. These guys are awesome. Make sure to check them out. And as always, have fun and stay safe.